Imagine two companies, identical in every way, same industry, same size, same resources. But one consistently outperforms the other by 30%. What's the difference? Trust. Not just individual trust, organizational trust that compounds like interest in a savings account. Hey, friends, thanks for joining today on Leading with Bill. I'm Bill Martin, your personal leadership coach, and this is where biblical wisdom can transform your leadership approach. Today, we're concluding our trust series with something powerful. It's how the individual trust that we've been building becomes a multiplying force that transforms your entire organization. This is Trust Multiplied, building a culture of trust. Before we dive in today, don't forget, if you want to dive deeper into your leadership development, check out a link in the description for a free values-based leadership assessment. I'd love to share it with you. Here's what I've observed in my years of experience in HR and leadership. Most leaders think trust is just about one-on-one relationships. If people trust me personally, that's enough. Here's the challenge. Individual trust is just the starting point. The real competitive advantage comes when trust multiplies throughout the entire organization. Compound effect of trust isn't just nice to have, it's your organization's greatest untapped resource. Let's ground this in some biblical wisdom. Turn with me to the parable of the tenants in Matthew chapter 25 and verses 20 and 21. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Notice the multiplication principle. Faithfulness with little leads to responsibility for much. Trust works the same way. Now look at Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 12. The one may be overpowered. 2 can defend themselves. Cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Individual trust is powerful, but when trust multiplies across relationships and systems, it creates something unbreakable. And that's what we're building toward. It's not just personal trustworthiness, but a culture where trust compounds and multiplies. Over the past 4 episodes, we've built something powerful together. It's a complete framework for trust-based leadership. Now, let me remind you of the journey that we've taken, and you'll see links somewhere to each of these in case you need to catch up or you want to watch again. Episode 1 was the character foundation. We established that trust starts with you, your integrity, consistency, your authenticity. These 3 pillars create the unshakable foundation that everything else builds on. Episode 2 is trust through transparency. We learned that intentional vulnerability builds credibility. When you share appropriately and admit mistakes, you don't weaken your leadership, you strengthen it. In episode 3 is trust through consistency. We discovered that people need to know what version of you they're getting every day. Consistency isn't about perfection, but it's about predictable character under pressure. In episode 4, trust through integrity. We explored how your private actions must match your public words. Integrity is the bridge between who you are and who people see you to be. But here's what I want you to understand. These aren't separate skills to master. They're interconnected elements that multiply each other's impact. When you combine character foundation with transparency, consistency, and integrity, you don't just build trust. Create a culture where trust compounds and spreads. That's the compound effect we talked about earlier. Individual trust becoming organizational trust that transforms everything. If you found value in these episodes of the Trust series, leave a comment below telling me which episode impacted you most and why. I'd love to celebrate this journey with you. So as we conclude this Trust series, I want to give you the Trust series integration plan. It's how to take everything we've covered and make it a living reality in your leadership. Step 1, your trust scorecard. Go back through the 4 episodes. I've also added links to those in the description below, and rate yourself honestly on each area. Character foundation, integrity, consistency, authenticity. Rate from a 1 to a 10. Transparency, that intentional vulnerability in admitting mistakes. Rate from a 1 through a 10. Daily consistency, that predictable behavior under pressure. Again, rate that from a 1 to a 10. Finally, integrity alignment, private actions matching your public words. Also, rate that from a 1 to a 10. Step 2 is to choose your growth area. Which area scored the lowest? That's where trust is leaking in your leadership. Focus there, not because others don't matter, but because your weakest area limits the strength of all the others. Step 3, the 30-day trust challenge. For the next 30 days, just implement one specific practice from your lowest scoring area. If it's consistency, do the weekly consistency check. If it's transparency, practice intentional vulnerability in team meetings. If it's integrity, do the daily mirror test. Remember, we've spent 4 episodes building this foundation because trust isn't a destination. It's a daily choice. And every interaction is either building trust or eroding it. But now you have the tools to build it intentionally. Here's my challenge as we wrap up this series. I want you to pick one person on your team and commit to intentionally building trust them over the next 30 days using what we've learned together. Apply character foundation, consistent, transparent, and authentic. Watch what happens, not just to that relationship, but to how it impacts your entire team dynamic. Friends, remember, trust isn't just built, it's multiplied. When you invest in trust using the principles that we've covered, you're not just improving relationships, you're creating a legacy that compounds over time. Thanks for joining me today on Leading with Bill. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. We'll see you next time.